This is obviously your first time as a head coach going through a draft process. Just curious, what's the biggest thing you learned from your time in New England about their approach to the draft?
I think it's about evaluating the players. To me, the biggest part of the draft is evaluating the players, not for what they've done in the past, but for what they can do in the future. And you've got to have the foresight to see how their skill set can really add to your team and how you're going to use them. The biggest thing I take from my time in New England is just how to look at the player and find what their strengths are, and then see how you can use them for your team's advantage. To me, it's every player has to have a level of versatility. I don't care if you're a one-position offensive lineman or you're the quarterback. Everyone has to have versatility within their game to adjust to different game plans and schemes. To me, if you find a player who's had great impact and has the upside, that's a guy you want to really add to your roster. The upsides are the biggest part of it. So in terms of, is it someone who has to have a true position home? To me, the position home is going to be defined by how you choose to use them. And that's really up to us as coaches to be creative and maximize their strengths, and not talk about what they're not, but figure out what they can do for us and help us win.
Is it going to just be you isolated in your basement talking on video chat with Dave and the scouts? How do you envision the actual 3 days of the draft working?
Well, I'll have a more accurate picture for you after we go through a couple mock drafts ourselves as an organization with the league. I have told my kids that, there's times I'm going to need them to get out of the basement. There's up to be present. But it is still our house, and like everyone else in America is finding out, everyone's working with their family, always present, and that's pretty true for us. I got a golden retriever sits on a couch next to me for about 15 hours a day. So, right now she could probably tell you more about who we're going to take in the first round than anybody else.
Well, a new coach like yourself in the program might be a little behind because of the OTAs, being canceled with the virus and all that. Maybe you could get into a little bit about how you plan on catching up once, you get into in the building, as compared to like a Doug Peterson who has had his system in place for years.
All we're concerned about at this point really is getting the foundation laid through whatever means that ends up being. We've been preparing for this now for some time, for these meetings to go virtual, to be able to communicate with our players through the conditioning program and have everything set up that we can work with them. Look, I think the advantage goes to whoever's best prepared from this point forward. I don't think any established programs have an advantage over anybody else. It's how you can find a way to communicate with your players and deliver a message. Whether you've been in the program for years or not, everybody has changes to what they're going to be doing in the off season. They're going to have the same challenges of communicating to their players. Monday's going to be a lot like a first day back in the building, through a regular spring program. We want to spend some time with position coaches. We want to make sure the coordinators get a chance to address their room. And I'll have a chance to talk to the team for the first time. So, before we get into all the X's and O's of football, there's an important element of just getting to know the players and them getting to know us that has to take place.